Hello guys, I'm Savvy and welcome to another KSP video. I haven't done one of these in a while. It's been a little bit since I've done a KSP video, but I thought about doing one again since I recently got back into streaming the game the other day, which I'll link at the end of this video here where you guys can check that out, that live stream, where I went to Elu, but I'm using a lot of mods in this game. So Elu is not where it normally is in vanilla. It's actually around the planet Sarnus, which is actually where I'm going to be going in this episode, but there were some things that kind of didn't work out in the end, unfortunately. And one of those was actually going to a trip to Sarnus, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But as you can see, I'm building this rocket here. I actually decided to use I decided to do an unmanned mission because just like the Joule mission that I did, which I can also link that at the end of this video too, so you guys can select either the live stream or that video, where I dive into the atmosphere to collect science. But I was going through the dark side of Joule, which is not what I planned, but it's fine. But for Sarnus, for this one, I wanted to just do it with, which I didn't do it manned, and I didn't want to be able to, send Kerbals there and then not not them having to escape or anything. But I had the parachutes there in order for it to descend a lot slower because it's similar to Joule. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing here by doing a mission similar to the Joule one, and we'll be doing something similar to that of Erlum and Nidon, because those two are also gas giants, and those are also part of the Outer Planets mod, which is what I'm using for this, and that's the reason why Elu is also around Sarnus, because of all those planets that replace beyond Joule. So, which that Elu mission was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do more missions like that in the Outer Planets, and I'll also be doing more videos on Outer Planets as well, but some things definitely changed according to plan. I also have this about 3 times speed. This whole mission took maybe about an hour, and most of the time that it took to get from point A to point B was just the traveling part. Going from Kerbin to Sarnus, because Kerbin to Sarnus is very, very tricky. Very tricky indeed. By tricky, I wouldn't consider it tricky. Tricky is not the right word to use, but I would say it just takes a long time to get there. Only because, if you're going to Joule in this game, then it's not really, it doesn't take as long, but Sarnus is pretty much the distance. Think of like the distance between Kerbin and Duna. I mean, it's pretty much double that distance. So, I mean, Joule is quite far from Kerbin, but that trip is pretty easy. That one doesn't take as long. But I'd say if you're going from Kerbin to Sarnus, and if you have, without the time warp mod, which I actually didn't use, but everything's all sped up, so you don't have to worry about that. It probably takes about maybe 10-15 minutes to get there. Especially if you're trying to do an arc over the orbit of Sarnus, where you're not directly going towards it. So luckily this time I was able to do that, which you'll see when we do the trajectory portion of this. But I haven't been talking about building the rocket at all, but I use the biggest Probodobodyne that there is. I have some solid rocket fuel boosters. Did some asparagus staging with nuclear engines, and I have, let's see, you could consider the solid rocket fuel boosters a stage. So we have 4 stages in total. So we have over 10,000 Delta V, so it's really good. So here we go. This is the part that we're going to be going to for the launching, and I want to make sure it's daytime so you guys can see. And there we go. There's our liftoff right there. So we're definitely going to be making our way to Sarnus now. And I really didn't need these huge, powerful solid rocket fuel boosters, but it turns out that as the mission went on, I definitely needed all the fuel that I had at the end, only for a couple of reasons, because some things just didn't end up working out, because I forgot one thing in particular when I was building this rocket, because if we're going to Sarnus, you're probably wondering, um, well, where's your protection against the atmosphere if you're going really fast in the atmosphere? And that didn't click in my brain until I was over halfway to Sarnus, and I'm just like, oh, great, great, I totally forgot to put this on here. So so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna change my plans, but I'm still gonna just, go through with this and see exactly how this plan will go as we make our way to Sarnus. Um, I had a plan B. I actually did have a plan B, but it was kind of a last second thing. But it turns out that it worked out in the end for the most part. And I wish I had more science modules with that plan B because that's why I have the atmosphere detector. I forgot the name of it at the top of my head. You can also see I'm not using solar panels as well. I'm using the thermoelectric generators, which are way better. And since we're going really far, which you could see how far I'm going to be heading to from Kerbin. I mean, look how far that is. I mean, that distance from Joule to Sarnus is just about double from. Actually, it's more than. It's like from Kerbin to Dres. That's pretty much the distance there. It's just extra time. Like, that's what I mean, like double. But you can also see the distance from Sarnus to Erlum, which is the bright blue line around that. I mean, that distance is even larger, and it just gets bigger and bigger over time. So it's crazy. Um, but this was a fun mission, regardless of whatever happened. I mean, I'm glad that there was a plan B that I decided to have. Because we actually did still go to Sarnus. It's just the fact that I ran into a couple issues. And apparently with the communication device, which I forgot to bring out until I was like really far away, it didn't want to connect with Kerbin, but it turned out that I didn't really need it in the first place in order to control my vessel because of the probodobodyne that I was using. So I lucked out in there, very much so. Yeah, I'm just kind of fidgeting with the with directions and stuff, trying to make sure that we're properly going to Sarnus, and I'm just kind of sitting there having the rocket do its thing, doing a good old job there. And there we go. We're on our second to final stage. And I will say one of the best things that I've ever done with the rockets that I built is with the nuclear engines and the not nuclear fuel, it's just liquid fuel. You don't need oxidizer. It doesn't work with oxidizer because you have liquid fuel engines that use oxidizer and liquid fuel, but for the nuclear engines, all they need is liquid fuel. And they are very efficient, and I do recommend doing if you're doing, very long distance missions in the Kerbal system, such as, even if you're going to Joule, maybe Dres from every now and again, depending on the kind of mission you're trying to do. If there's like multiple things, or if you're trying to find asteroids as well, but definitely if you're going beyond Joule, oh yeah, you definitely need nuclear fuel. Unless you want to build like a bunch of other stages as well on your rocket. I do just recommend doing nuclear fuel, but the asparagus staging part of doing that is like the most efficient thing I've ever done, I've ever created. I mean, it's what I didn't really create it myself, but I'm sure that there were others that are out there, but I've never seen it before until I just did it myself because I'm like, why not? Since I'm doing this with liquid fuel and their engines, like liquid fuel engines, why not do this with nuclear fuel engines and see if it works the same? And it does. It totally does. And I definitely recommend it to a lot of you guys. Now, maybe I did a little too much, but it turns out that with the plan B that happened in this mission, um, actually I mean, not just enough, but I had more than enough, but I could tell that I was cutting it sort of close with the plan B, just because a few things definitely went wrong since I wasn't able to rotate that well. as we come up to this point here. And I couldn't get rid of this node the entire time, so that just kind of stuck there for the time being. You can see how fast I'm moving. That's because I have this at 2.75 times speed. So if you were to bring that down to 1 time speed, like I don't know what that would be, like a conversion rate on YouTube if you slow it down, you could definitely see how slow it was, how long it took me to get where I needed to go. But I'll let you guys know the reveal of the plan B. The plan B for this was, since I couldn't fall through the atmosphere, or I could, but I wouldn't, the vessel would not survive at all, I decided to go to Slate instead, which is one of Sarnus's moons. Now, the largest moon, I believe, is Tecto, that is around Sarnus, and that one has a weird eccentric orbit around it. So instead, what I wanted to do was go to Slate. I think it's the second largest moon of Sarnus. I believe so. But the good thing about this is that despite having nuclear engines, I was still able to land my vessel on it. Or, I mean, not really land. I mean, you'll see exactly what happens once we get there. And you can see, like, as we're going up to our apoapsis, and this is for anything, even in real life, you're slowing down because that's your slowest point of your traversal is your apoapsis. And so you could even see, even at 2.75 times speed, this is kind of slow. Kind of slow. I mean, you can see Sarnus kind of speeding along there, but we're slowing down to the point where we're going to go just as fast as Sarnus. I mean, that's pretty much how this works anyway, by meeting with other celestial bodies, is that you're trying to go faster than them to meet up with them, or sometimes in like other cases you have to go slower in order to meet up with them. Or probably a combination of both. You speed up, but you're not going to hit it quite yet because you went a little too fast, so then you have to go above your trajectory to slow down, and then you come back down, and then you're, bam, meeting up with it directly. So yeah, I was trying to test the antenna here as to why it wasn't connecting, because typically with these, actually it might just be too far away. So if we have a ComNet or some kind of network built up like around Joule, Duna, Dres, if we had that, we probably have better communication. But unfortunately, we don't, so it didn't have any connection at all. But I was still able to rotate, but I didn't even realize that until not too late. I was still around Sarnus, but I had to expend a lot of fuel to get around Sarnus, unfortunately. So yeah, you'll see here, this is the part where I'm like way, way, way above Sarnus. So I'm just like burning a lot of my fuel, and this goes into my nuclear fuel as well. But as I said, with the asparagus staging of this, of the nuclear stage, it is very easy to do what I needed to do. You can see that gray line that's around Sarnus to the very outer edge there. I have the KcalbelohSystem mod, which it's like a huge black hole system that has even star systems within it. And there's a wormhole that you go to travel to and from the Kerbal system and the Calbeloh system, which Calbeloh backwards is black hole. And it's the wormhole is around Sarnus, very on the outer edges of Sarnus. And you can see Tecto is the like cyan line, and then the gold line is what we have targeted, which is Slate. But we're coming in at it from the poles, from North and South Pole. And luckily I was able to burn enough retrograde to reach Slate, luckily. So very, very happy about that. And we come in from it from the southern side. Well, sorry, the northern side, excuse me. It was a little, like, perspective is a little bit strange with that trajectory that we were doing. But we come in it from the northern side, southern, southern, I guess, I don't know. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I'm not good with like I'm not an expert at all of this. I'm still kind of rusty at this too. This is why, I forgot the silly ablator shield or the heat shield for this original mission. So yeah, I was being a little silly, but that's also because I'm a little rusty at this because it's been a long time. It's been many weeks since I actually did a video on this. I think it's been probably a couple months since I've done this. Same with the live streams as well. It's been a little while, but I might try to get back into the groove of things. But I might want to maybe do more creative type of streams, just to do funny missions, or I might just want to do career mode again, just to kind of start from scratch and see how much more efficient I can be and how much quicker I can be through it, with just some practice with these other things. But yeah. But look at that, I finally get myself into orbit around Slate, and you can still see that I have at least one other set of engines or one other set of fuel for us to get even closer to Slate, and I'm very excited about this. Now, the one thing about the outer planets is that there is a mod that I use. It's like a volumetric cloud mod, and I'll have all the mods listed in the description down below, so you guys could check them out. You could use them for yourselves, download them, and put them into your Kerbal Space Program game if you do play this game. Um, but yeah, there is like parallax, I believe, for these as well, but it doesn't. I mean, it works okay from a distance, but it doesn't really work as efficiently on the outer planets. It's not as like finely detailed as Parallax Continued. So, yeah. Or is it Parallax 2.0? It's the I forget those two, but those don't work with the Outer Planets mod. But I would love if that kind of Parallax mod was updated as well, or if the person who made Parallax 2.0 also makes one for the outer planets or includes outer planets as well as like a separate file. But I mean, just on its own with the vanilla Kerbal system, I mean, it's fantastic. And not to say that this is like bad or anything. Like it's just, it kind of reminds me of even like when Kerbal Space Program was updated with like just vanilla, where they updated the textures of some of all the celestial bodies over time. It still wasn't like very detailed. So, and I kind of wish that Kerbal Space Program 2, did a lot better, and wasn't as much of a you know dumpster fire as it was, unfortunately. I played it, and I definitely had my issues with it for sure. But I mean, I just think of, they could have remastered Kerbal Space Program, like just remaster the first game, and just so that way they could just add more to it, update the engine and stuff, because I think that's what Kerbal Space Program 2 was, just an updated engine. I mean, they could have done that with Kerbal Space Program and just use or I think it was an entirely new engine, I can't remember, but just use what already worked and just kept adding more content to it, like more planets or even systems or stuff, like the aspirations that Kerbal Space Program 2 was going to have. I think that would have been nice. But here we go. We're almost there on the surface. We're almost there. And the gravity is a little strong, but it's not as strong as like Tylo and around Joule. But there we go. Yay! And then the game froze for just a second because something blew up. So then I decided to take some science, where it's like, oh, there's no atmosphere here, surprising. And then like, be warm here if there was like an ocean or something, but there isn't an ocean. You can't take atmosphere stuff. But yeah, we did it. We did Plan B. So I hope you guys did enjoy watching this. And if you did, be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. And be sure to hit that subscribe button as well, because it lets me know you guys are the content on the channel and would like to see more. I'd like to give a shout out to all my channel members whose names up on the screen right now. If you're interested in using exclusive emotes during live streams, or if you're interested in being the first to see videos before they go public, be sure to hit the join button down below and become a Savvy Superstar or Specialist today. I've been Savvy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. See you later.